So let's take a quick look at CSS. We're not going to do anything too fancy. I just want to go over some basic stuff. So we'll change some fonts, maybe some font colors, and that kind of thing. So we've got our ID over here for the button. So we're going to talk about the button. We're going to change the color, maybe the background color. We're going to go into the input and the div, and those are actually both going to be affected by this style1 class. So we're just going to do that once, and then these are both going to have that styling. So our ID, our class, will go in here and we'll lay those out. So for an ID, you need the hashtag followed by the name of the ID, and then just put some curly brackets after, and everything inside those curly brackets is going to apply to that ID. For class, it's a little different. We have the period. So we're going to do st1 for our style1 class. And again, everything inside here is going to apply to any element that has this style1 class. So let's just mess around a bit here. We'll change the background color. So background color, and let's set that to, we'll do cornflower blue. There we go. So that's a nice blue now. Maybe I want to change the color, change that to white. So now we've got a white, the text is white, but the background color is blue. And I can add a little padding there, maybe 20 pixels. So padding, there's a couple of them. There's margin, border, and padding. If you actually inspect the page, so just right click, inspect, then you find what you're looking for up here. So we're looking for the button, and it's going to select the button. And then we can actually see what the margin is, what the border is, the padding is, and we can see just the element inside. So that's a handy way you can kind of change them and then see how they affect the element. So I could do margin, maybe 5 pixels, something like that. Whatever, right? You're just spacing stuff out a bit here. Now if I go over to the class, let's say the background color is going to be magenta. Let's say the border is going to be dotted. And let's also change the font color to white. We could even add like a different font style for these elements. So I could go font family, I think. Yeah, font family is, I don't know, you could pick any one of these, doesn't really matter. So we have that one. So now the font is going to be different for this message and inside here. So that's a bit wonky, but you can kind of see how that style applied to the input field and to the message we have here. So back in our HTML document, we have the ID there gets that kind of blue and white, and then everything with this style1 is actually going to get the weird pink border with a different font. So even if I type in here, how are you, something like that, it's going to use the same font, or it's going to use the same font family anyways. So that's just some basic styling. There's a whole bunch of stuff you can do with this. If you're trying to build up like a professional website, you can just start to learn all the different tricks. This site here is really good for that. So if you go to W3 Schools and just go to their little CSS tab, you can see all of the different stuff. You can just kind of learn that. It's usually just going to follow the same kind of style. So you just have stuff inside the brackets, and you're just deciding what to change it to. So this doesn't really have to be in any order when you're doing CSS. I could put the color up here. For instance, it's not really going to matter. You're just kind of listing off what you want to happen. And yeah, so that's that for CSS, just a little bit of the basics.